Hey everybody, just Jessie here. I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do a little bit of a whip and chat today. I have some things I would love to talk to you about, some life updates to share, and why not do all of that while I'm working on the diamond painting. So for the month of April, I challenged myself to work on the whips that I had already going into April. And I thought it would be a lot of fun every day during April to let the random picker wheel pick my whip for me. So on here you'll see the 5 whips that I've been working on: Witchy Greenhouse, Halloween Mystery Kit, Black Cat Night, Afternoon Chic, and Biological Key. We're going to spin the wheel and we're going to see what kit I work on. Now, caveat: if it lands on Halloween Mystery, I don't think I'll work on that for this whip and chat, just because I don't want to ruin the mystery for anyone. But let me know. Let me know if you're okay with it. Let me know if you don't want to see it, and we can go from there. My plan for the month of April, like I said, is to work on my whips. I want to use this random picker wheel every time I want to work on a diamond painting, and I'm kind of keeping a log because I think it'd be really fun at the end of the month to see what kits I worked on and how many sections I completed for each kit. And I, of course, will share that with you when we get to that point. Anyways, enough talking. Let's do some spinning. Ooh. We're going to work on Witchy Greenhouse. I'm having so much fun with this one. Super excited. I'm going to stop this recording and get set up, and then I will get back to you in a little bit. All right, I am back. I'm actually going to bring you in closer, but I kind of wanted to give you a little glimpse of what I've been working on since the last time you saw this. So this was, I think this was the first one I worked on for April, and I got these 3 sections done, and I am just loving it. I really love this. It's like a pink red, this pink fairy dust. Oh, it is so pretty. Here, I will show you what it looks like before we start, because I just think it is gorgeous. I love the way the pink sparkles. Let me see if you can even see. I don't know if you'll be able to see. It's just so pretty. So yeah, I am really enjoying this. I just think it's so much fun, and it is working up fast. So I'm going to zoom you in a little bit closer and try not to get my hands in the way when I'm working on this. So just give me a second. All right, so my accessories kind of stay the same. I still am using this tray from Muni Made. This is a pen from Diamond Art Club. It's a twist and pick. So this part has blue putty from Art Dot in it. And when I need more putty, I just twist and a little bit of putty comes out. And then this end is actually, so this is a new multi-placer. This is a 6 drill multi-placer, but it's angled. I don't know, like, see how it's got an angle to it? And I'm finding that I'm really having a fun time with this. I'm really able to put my drills down more precisely. Forgive the messed up nails here. I have to redo my nails. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So how is everybody? I haven't done a whip and chat in a long time. Well, I take that back. I have made some and then I delete them because I feel like a silly gooseberry. So, but I really wanted to do one because I don't have a lot of videos right now. I haven't had a lot of time to make videos. Work's been insane, but on the work front, it's one of the things I really wanted to talk about. On the work front, this week, I put in my 2 weeks notice at my job. There were a lot of reasons. The first one being that things just haven't been very stable where I work for a while. Just the company is having some financial issues. And last year, around this time last year, probably around summertime of last year, They did a lot of layoffs. Hold on one second. I'm going to bring my desk up a little bit higher for me. So hold on. Sorry if you get moved around a little. That's better. They'd had a lot of layoffs in my department. And then it's kind of frustrating because when we asked about layoffs during a quarterly meeting last year, it must have been the third quarter, the CEO got really kind of annoyed with the people who had asked about it and said that there were no layoffs, but there had been layoffs, and my department went from a good 50, 60 people to, I think we have like, conservatively, let's just say 30, but I think it's less than 30 people in the US in my department. And then a lot of the people that had left, had quit and found new jobs. Those positions were filled by a new regulatory team in India. I don't even know if I've ever told you what I do. So what do I do? I do regulatory paperwork for research sites throughout the United States. So I work for a company who owns research sites in the United States and in Europe. And a research site usually consists of a few doctors and then the staff to run the research site. We contract with the pharmaceutical companies who are looking for research sites to help them conduct pharmaceutical studies or device studies to get approved, their medication or their device approved by the FDA. So a research site is just one of however many sites they determine they need to help find the amount of patients that each study requires. And regulatory department, really, people think we're like glorified paper pushers, right? Because we have a lot of paperwork that has to be filed, has to be approved. I have to have documented training for every staff member that's working on a study. I have to have approvals by this board that oversees the safe conduct. So make sure that patient safety is first and foremost and being, adhered to and followed to throughout courses of the study. I correspond with the pharmaceutical companies when they want to have questions that they want answered. I file every single communication, every single document they say we have to file. That's what I do. Right now I have 2 research sites, and I'm their gal Friday. Whenever they need something, usually they reach out to me and I try to do my best to help them. Anyway, that's the long and short of what I do. Unfortunately, the company's just kind of having some growing pains. They grew really big during and after 2020 with vaccine trials, and I'm not really here to discuss the politics behind vaccines and all of that. But that's not, you can have your thoughts on the pharmaceutical companies. I sure do. But, I also have seen what good you can do in people's lives when they participate in clinical research trials. I've seen patients come in with a diagnosis that is scary and is, can lead to life-threatening consequences, and they have no hope. And they've tried medications before that have made them super sick. And we have a trial where, we can help cure them. It was a hepatitis C trial. So before, years and years and years ago, hepatitis C was treated with a medication that was almost like a chemo drug. It made patients so super sick. And it also had a really high rate of the hepatitis C had a high rate of coming back. So when I first started 10 years ago in research, they were just kind of on the tail end of these research studies where patients who had had a recurrence of their hepatitis C were taking this new medication that was an oral pill, no IV, no chemo-like symptoms or side effects. It was an oral pill. I think they took it like once a day for, let's say, 6 weeks. 6 or 8 weeks, and after that time period, their hepatitis C was gone, and it stayed gone for at least the 5 years that we followed them, if not permanently. I mean, it was just, you could see them come in and they were so sad because they'd had this recurrence and they were scared and they were afraid that they were going to have to go through that terrible round of medication again. And here we gave them this medication. It's now on the market. And they didn't have to pay anything. We followed them closely for 5 years, documented every medical thing that happened to them, and we cured their hepatitis C. I mean, you could see it. You could see them come in with their initial blood work and clearly had hepatitis C. And within weeks, before they finished taking all that medicine, and well, that one pill, before that 8 weeks was up, their hepatitis C was not detectable in lab work. So that's really kind of what gave me the passion for clinical research. And, you know, research is super expensive. They spend a lot of money in hopes of getting their drug to the next research phase. Research takes a long time to properly get medications approved. You have to do a phase 1, phase 2. You probably end up doing multiple phase 3s, and then phase 4 is your long term, where you're kind of opening it up to a bigger patient population, and you're really studying or watching for any potential side effects. But that's the long and short on it. If you're really interested in learning more, I have no problem talking about it. But anyway, so the company I'm at, they've been going through a hard time. About 6 weeks ago, they started furloughing people. Like I said, they grew really, really big after 2020 with vaccine trials. And then unfortunately, in the past year and a half, those have just kind of started having issues getting new ones up and running. At first, it was really the supply. There was just really hard time with them sourcing all the supplies they would need. So those studies would get postponed, and then there were just various things. And now this past, let's say 6 months, there's just been more postponement because of more postponement because of the uncertainty of this administration, more postponement because government funding has kind of paused. So a lot of these trials, a lot of the funding has been put on hold indefinitely. So the company I'm currently with is kind of having to pivot and try to figure out, how do we shore up this shortfall that we've had for over a year now. And so, I mean, I think this company is going to end up being okay. They just, a lot of their eggs were in these vaccine trials, and now, those are kind of just not as in demand, let's say, as they were a few years ago. So now they're kind of pivoting, and they'll be okay. It's just, unfortunately, they just can't operate at the size that they're at. So that's the long and short of it. I put my 2 weeks notice in. My last day will be the 17th of April. It's Bittersweet. I love the team that I've worked with. I love the supervisor that I've worked under. She's my most recent supervisor. I've had like 5 or 6 supervisors, but the one I've worked under for the past 6 months has been really good. I really like her. I have a really good relationship with her. I have a really good relationship with our team. I just, as a single mom, even though our department hasn't really been hit with furloughs, we were hit with layoffs, like I said, last year. It just felt scary, and it felt like I didn't know. I just feel like the furloughs are coming down the pipeline. It's going to happen eventually. And so, long story short, I kind of put some feelers out. And I had applied for a different job at a different company, not even for regulatory, but they emailed me and said, hey, the hiring manager in the regulatory department saw your resume. Would you be willing to interview with them? And I said, sure. And yeah, I will start there soon. And I'm super, super excited. I've heard really good things about this company. I know one person that works there, and she's had really good things to say. It almost feels a little too good to be true. So while I'm breathing easier, I'm also still really nervous, just because, you know, starting something new. Sorry, my cat, of course, has been asleep all day, and now I decided to diamond paint and talk to you, and he's running around like crazy. You know, I mean, I know the processes at this company that I'm at. I know the people that I have to work with on a daily basis to get things done. I know who to reach out to when I need answers. So it's it's exciting and it's bittersweet. I mean, I am super excited to go back to a company that's running gastrointestinal studies. That's where I started. And so I know the lingo. I know some of the sites, some of the PIs. A PI is the doctor that's in charge of the study for that specific research site. I know some of them. I used to work with one of them. So I'm really, really super duper excited. I just have to get through these next 2 weeks, and I have to do, you know, like, do my best to leave the people that are taking over my work, leave them, you know, like as good as I can for them, get it as clean as possible and as easy to transfer as possible. So I've been working really I've been working really hard to get everything ready for them to take over. And then the next bit of news is that my son took his driving test last Wednesday, so over a week ago, and he passed. So since then, we have tried 3 times to get his driver's license, and we have failed 3 times to get his driver's license. So what's going on in Louisiana, janky old Louisiana, is that the operating system for all DMV offices and even the little, you know, offshoots, the little branches, they all run on the same operating system, and that is like 50, 60 years old, and it is crashing every day. There's no guarantee. You can make an appointment. There's no guarantee that when you show up for your appointment, you'll be able to get your registration or your license. We've tried 3 times and have waited over 2 hours each time. So it was really frustrating. I talked to, we went for the 4th time to this other branch at the DMV. Oh, and then, okay, so we tried the first time, waited 2 hours, and they said, no, it's not going to be up. You're just going to have to try another day. I went on to the website, because you can make appointments with to go to the DMV. So I made an appointment. Then the most, how do I say it? The closest appointment they had was on April 16th. So I made that appointment. And then someone said, oh, try this other DMV. They're really good. And so the soonest I could get in for that appointment was April 15th. Okay, so we have 2 appointments at the DMV. We've gone 3 times, waited a long time. We went the other day after I picked my son up from school just to see, and I talked to the lady at the front desk, and she said that you can't just walk in anymore to try to get this license. You have to make an appointment. And so I told her, yeah, you know, we have an appointment. It's just not until the 16th of December at this office. And my son is, you know, really super excited to try to get his license. So she said, does he have his real ID? And I was like, I don't think so. He just doesn't have his license. She said, okay. So she looked at his permit. No, he does not have a real ID. She said, here's what you do. Make an appointment for Saturday morning, Saturday, April 5th, and do his real ID, and then you can also get his license at the same time, because it's going to be the same thing. So tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., we will be back at the DMV for one more try. And she said usually 8 a.m. is a good time. The system's not bogged down, and usually you can get what you need to get done. So hopefully, fingers crossed, he will have his license. I feel so bad for him just because he was so excited. And it's just been so kind of bittersweet for him, right? Because he can't have his license. He can't drive by himself. Although he's kind of scared to drive by himself, so we might still have me riding in the car with him until he feels more secure, which is fine with me. I trust him as much as a 17-year-old going on 18 can, without a lot of driving experience, I guess. But at the same time, I just get really nervous because people drive like crazy nowadays, and I think you just kind of have to have experience to handle a lot of it. And of course, you don't get experience until you get on the road. So we'll see. I tell him starting out, once he feels comfortable driving on his own, he can only go to certain places and drive on certain roads until I feel comfortable and he has more experience. Just because our interstate can be, it's not crazy like Dallas crazy, but it can get just crazy with all the construction going on, and he's just not quite there yet for driving interstate. And so he can drive like to work, to and from school. Those things I'm okay with. His dad lives in another town, and I don't really know how I would feel with him driving to, well, he doesn't have a car, so he'd be driving my car, and on the weekends he goes to his dad's, I don't really plan to be without a car, so he won't be driving to his dad's anytime soon. But I'm hoping that I can help him save up money so we can get him a car by the time school starts. Just because even though he can drive my car, it would be good if he could have his own little vehicle. That way, if something happens, I can still get to him. I don't have to get a Lyft or an Uber and, get someone else to drive me. So we'll see. That's the two big things, big changes. He has ring ding coming up in a few weeks. And I don't know, is ring ding like a national thing or is that a Southern thing? I didn't really do ring ding. I moved my junior year of high school from Florida to Louisiana, and I was not happy about it. So I hurried up and graduated early, basically. So I didn't do ring ding. I didn't do senior prom. My graduation was, I did have a graduation. My graduation ceremony had 4 people, and I was the valedictorian. So I just don't tell people I was a valedictorian of 4 people. I just tell them, yeah, I was valedictorian. But I graduated, got a diploma. In fact, he turned in his schedule, his senior schedule today. So big things are coming this year. They grew up so fast. Like, it's awesome. And then I look at him and I wonder where my little 3-year-old buddy went. Like, he used to, he just get up and go, and we would go to the park and spend all day hanging out at the park or hanging out at the science museum on rainy days when he was super little and he had lots of energy. I would take him to the mall before it opened, and he would run because he could run in the mall. It was an open. The building was open, but the stores hadn't opened, so he could run and not like run into stores or anything. And all the mall walkers thought he was just so cute, and they would give him high fives, and they liked seeing him. So we would do that on rainy days, just to help get some energy out. And I was very fortunate. I got to stay at home with him until he started preschool, and then I started a part-time job just to get back on the workforce, and I've been working ever since. And I've been really fortunate for his high school career to be able to work from home, and it's been such a blessing just because I can take him to school. I started picking him up from school just because there's been issues with the bus. Even though like we're super close, I mean, technically, if it was back in when I went to school, he would be walking to school. We're so close to the high school, but the way this area is, like they can't walk to school. There's just no, it's not safe. Otherwise, I'd be having him walk. But I love being able to just be home when he's home from school and talk to him and maybe, you know, eat a snack with him or help him fix a snack. And just, you know, some days he doesn't want to talk. He's tired and he just wants to take a nap. Other days he likes to tell me all about his day. And then he goes to work. He works about 3 days a week. He's at work right now, just doing he works for a little deli that does like health food. He works in the kitchen, just like prepping all this stuff for the week, for the next time he works, I guess. You know, like chopping up veggies and fruits, and he bagging up lunch meat. What else does he do? He makes like the chicken salad and the egg salad. He's so grossed out by the egg salad. He'll never eat egg salad, I don't think. So it's just crazy. I mean, it's awesome. It's so awesome to watch your little kid turn into a little man and have his likes and dislikes and his own life and, you know, his personality. I love it. But yeah, big things all around. What else is going on? Well, tomorrow I work. We have a little local hockey team. It is, I don't remember the letters. It's basically for these kids who are, I think, 17 to 21 years old, and they come from all over and compete on these teams and live here during the hockey season. And the hope for them, I think, is to be scouted by these colleges. And our local team has had a really good history of getting these kids really good colleges. So it's fun to help support them. I just work in the box office most of the time, selling tickets. It's easy. It's fun. I love seeing our town come out and support these kids. The team that the team used to be owned by a different owner, and it used to be like a minor NHL farm team. And so you would see these guys, these grown men playing hockey, just like last hope of ever getting picked for the NHL. And I think that we had one or two that maybe got to go play get called up to an NHL game every now and then, but most of them didn't. Like one, he works for the railroad now. I know, and the only reason I know that is because his son is the director of ticket sales for this hockey team now. So we talk about it because, you know, we always laugh like hockey in Louisiana. Who'd have thought it? But yeah, it's a real thing, and it's fun. It's really fun to watch. I like working the games. I can get free tickets if I want to when I work. So sometimes my son will have me get him some tickets, and he'll take a friend. And when I get done, I'll go get some food for the guys, and, you know, sit there and try not to be embarrassing. I do like that my son doesn't get embarrassed by me. I guess that's a good sign. Because I was joking around one day, like, oh, you don't want your old mom around. But he's like, why? My friends like you. Well, that's good. That's better than my friends don't like you. Anyway, what else has been going on? Not much else. I just work a lot. I've been working a lot. I've been reading. I'm currently listening to a book that I'm really enjoying. It's called The Sword Catcher by Cassandra Clare. I usually listen to that when I'm driving in the car or when I'm sitting in car line waiting to pick my son up. Here's my car line rant. You ready? Why on earth are there people who show up for car line at over an hour before school gets out? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I think the only time it makes sense is if you got off work and it's easier for you, I guess, to get in car line, but it's crazy. I get there like 5 minutes before they let these kids out, and it takes me 25-30 minutes to get him picked up and get out of that parking lot. I guess that's why people decide they'd rather be there an hour early, but I can't. I use my lunch break to pick him up from school, so I'm not going to take an hour and a half. I can, I'm just not going to. Pretty soon he'll be driving himself. That's crazy. The other rant, here's my other school rant. I've watched these teenagers drive off after school, and some of it scares me the way they drive out of that off that road. Like, they purposely will drive into rain puddles and mud puddles and throw rocks all over the cars in the turning lane, just waiting to turn so they could pick their kids up. They haul butt down the road. Speed limit's 25. They're going well over 25, and it's insane. It's this big group of boys who drive these $60,000-$70,000 trucks, and I guess they just don't care. I don't know. I don't understand it at all, but it is what it is, I guess. Oh, cat hair. Anyways, oh yeah, books. Sorry, I got on a rant, didn't I? See, this is why I don't do whooping chats, because I just kind of meander along. So yeah, Cassandra Clare's Sword Catcher. It's the first in a series, and I'm really enjoying it. It's about this guy. It's the main character. His name is Kel. He was an orphan who was picked to be this royal prince's sword catcher. So the sword catcher in this context is basically the bodyguard, the body double of for the prince. And he's trained on how to fight and how to keep the prince safe. And there's this magic system, this magic that allows him to take on the vestige of the prince if they think that it's too dangerous for the prince to go out in public or to do like a public speaking event or something. So he will look just like the prince, sound like the prince. He studied how the prince moves. And him and the prince, they're basically attached at the hip. So they live in the same, they share the same rooms in the palace, all of that. And then the main female character is a healer who's descended from the only people who can still wield magic after magic disappeared. And she's a healer. And I'm not quite sure. Like, it took a while for me to figure out how she ends up coming into, like, for a while, for the first part of the book, it would flip-flop between each character in the chapters, and they were so kind of separated that I kept trying to figure out, like, how do these two end up colliding? How do their worlds end up meeting and coming together? And so that finally happened, and now it's kind of like, okay, now what? So I'm really enjoying it. Reading. I'm back. Sorry, my cat had lost a toy under the couch and was trying to claw her way under there, so I had to go rescue it for her. I swear, they're like toddlers. The minute you start to do something that's not part of your norm is the minute they start to act up. I'm reading a book called The Marriage Act by John Mars, and it's kind of, I haven't gotten too far into it, but it's kind of like a dystopian novel. And like I said, I haven't gotten too far into it. I know it has to do with, like, in the near future, marriage is basically mandated. And if you're not married, like, you're kind of shunned. And I think, like, married people have all these rights and benefits that non-married people don't have, and like the government is really invested in people getting married and staying married. And this guy writes kind of like creepy, psychological, maybe thrillers. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. The first book in the series was called The One, and that was about this company who found a way to match people genetically, and you can find your soulmate. So yeah, and then I think the one after this, after the Marriage Act, is the family. Something with the family. I'll try to remember to put pictures up. So it's interesting. These are all Kindle Unlimited books. So that's how I'm reading it. And then I'm reading one paper. I'm still reading Sunrise on the Mediterranean by Susan Frank. That is a hardback book that I'm reading. And I just read that. I've read it. It used to be one of my absolute favorite books. And so I read that just when I'm on the couch and I don't feel like watching TV or having electronics on. Just, it's like coming home. It's just one of my favorites. And then, one of the other big, fun, exciting things for me is that I bought some tickets to go see one of my new favorite bands in September, the Red Clay Strays. How do I explain the Red Clay Strays? Well, they are bluesy, country. The lead singer looks like a young Elvis. He's so pretty, and the music is just so good. One of my very favorite albums of theirs is actually called Live at the Ryman, and his voice is just amazing. And I've heard really good things about like the way he sounds when he's live in concert. You know, there are some times where you see a band and they're good, but just not maybe as good as their CDs, right? They're not as polished. They're, you know, maybe the lead singer's not quite as crisp as you would find on an album. Just probably pretty normal. But when you find a lead singer who sounds as good live as they do when they're recorded, man, it's just magic. Magic. There's another band that I absolutely love called Lake Street Dive, and their lead singer, she's got an awesome voice. I got to see them. I treated myself to a concert shortly after my birthday in 2023. They were playing in Dallas, and it just like, it was the last show of this tour. And I really wanted to go, and it was really last minute, and I treated myself to a floor seat. Hold on, I gotta take this plastic off. Sorry. I was, just like rows away from the stage, drove myself, it was in one of my favorite theaters, drove myself, got valet so I wouldn't have to worry about parking, went to the concert. I had a blast, absolute blast. And then I drove all the way home that same night, and it was awesome. I love going to concerts. I absolutely love I love music. I love live music. And it's just so much fun. I think that was actually the very first concert I went to by myself, and it was a blast. I mean, it's fun when you get to go with people and share that experience. It's a ton of fun, but I always get a little stressed, especially if it's a band I absolutely love and someone might just be going because they like live music. Maybe they don't know the band as well. I kind of stress out hoping that they're going to have as much fun as I'm having. And so kind of going by yourself, it takes that pressure off of you. You don't have to stress out about it. You don't have to worry about, having to go to the bathroom in pairs, which is always, good, especially as a female. You don't have to worry about like someone wanting to leave so they could beat the traffic or the rush. You just get to go and have a great time. So I did buy 2 tickets for the Red Clay Strays in September. I don't know who I'm going to see if they want to come with me. It is on the Thursday night, so that's the only thing, is that I don't know how many people will be able to take a Thursday night off or a Thursday off for the concert. And not many people are crazy like me and want to drive over, see the concert, and then drive home that same night. It is a doozy. I mean, it's doable. It's just, I'm definitely worn out the next day. If I did that, I would have that Friday off so I could at least recuperate. But I do have a friend now who lives over in Dallas, and I have a feeling he would let me, or let whoever goes with me, just crash at his place, because he's going to that concert too. He's the one who helped me get my tickets, because I had everything set up to do the pre-sale, and then I had just started training someone in my department, and of course she called me like 2 minutes before it was time to queue up for the pre-sale, and I by the time I got her situated, I was missing out. And so he was like, okay, we'll use this code. And so I got into another pre-sale, and I got to grab like some of the very last few tickets in the area that I wanted. So anyway, super excited about that concert. And then there's another concert. This one's in May, and it's local. It's here. I really want to go to. I probably will end up either going to that one by myself or buying 2 tickets and seeing if a friend of mine wants to go, just because he never really gets to go to many concerts anymore. I don't know, but it's Bonnie Raitt. She's coming to town, and I love Bonnie. My dad got me hooked on her, so I'm really excited about that. That's in May, and I just haven't bought the ticket yet, just because I know that it won't sell out. And then, like, my favorite seat, by the time I remembered to buy tickets, my favorite seats were already sold. So I'm kind of holding out to see what I can get closer towards the concert. But I'm excited. And let's see. So we talked about reading, listening to music, listening to podcasts. I don't know. I haven't really been listening to my podcast like I used to. I used to love listening to the History Chicks you can find them on Apple or Spotify, because I love history, and I love the way they would go into really good detail about, it's all women in history, and it was really interesting because you could learn about women that you've never heard about before. So if you like history and you like podcasts, History Chicks is a great one. I've been watching YouTube. Some of my favorites. So Patty at Giddy Things. I love her. She's super, hi Patty. She's just super happy and enthusiastic. And even when she's facing some challenges, she can still be really encouraging. And you just need that. She's just sunshine. You need people that are sunshine in your life. And I love that about her. And oh my gosh, I've been watching this channel on YouTube called Ask Two Lawyers, and they've been breaking down the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively defamation, harassment case, and it is really interesting. I don't even know how I got into Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, just because like I don't really follow celebrities. I don't really care, but somehow I stumbled onto this YouTube channel, and I love the way they break down all the legalities, all the legal briefs that are going on. They really are really thorough with all the different filings that have been filed, and there's been a lot and it hasn't even passed. It's still in the motion to dismiss part. So like the way I understand it is you can bring a lawsuit against someone, and then that person can say, no, this doesn't pertain to me. I want it dismissed. And then you have to come back and say, no, this does pertain to you. This is why. And that's before they even start doing like depositions and fact finding. So it's really, really interesting. And I never knew I would be so hooked on legalities the way I am. And these guys are really good at breaking complex things down to simple terms and ways that the non, lawyerly scholar can understand. I really like that. They really are good at educating us. And I mean, sometimes they talk about other cases, but they really got popular talking about Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. And so I've really enjoyed them. If you like people who can take complex stuff and break it down, they're really, really good. And then along with lawyer stuff, y'all ever heard of Lori Daybell? So she was convicted a while ago for a whole bunch of things that had to do with her kids being unalived by her then husband boyfriend. She's just a nut job. Oh, well, I think she's a nut job. Are you allowed to say you think someone's a nut job and not really worry about getting sued? Anyway, she was convicted in Idaho for all sorts of stuff. And now she has been transported to Arizona to face another trial for the her second husband. And they think she had a hand in him being unalived, basically. So when she was convicted in Idaho, she blamed her defense attorneys, and said that they did a terrible job defending her. So she is now representing herself. And it is very interesting. She is not afraid to express to talk back to the judge and ask questions. And it's really, I just said interesting, but it is really interesting because, she's going up against people who this is their job. They've gone to school, they've trained, they've worked as lawyers. And, even the judge, he's schooled in all of this. And she knows whatever she's been able to know from, the library, let's say. And she also has a paralegal who will help her do research, but that's it. So there are times when like the judge is not allowed to give her legal advice, but there are times when he's asking her a question and she's just constantly coming back and well, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. And he's trying to figure out a way he can get this issue, right? He's having to go over all of these things that she brought up and having to decide, is this something that's plausible, or do I throw it out? So he's having to explain to her without giving her legal advice. And you can see him trying to really be patient and explain things to her. And then she gets an attitude with him. And I just give this guy credit, because I'd have just been look, you're in over your head. Get a lawyer and then come back. But they can't do that. You have the right to defend yourself, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. So that's what's been keeping me entertained. Oh, and I watched some video game. Are they video game vloggers? I don't know. But they play The Sims, because I have been playing The Sims since it first came out in 99, 2000, something like that. So I'll watch some of their videos every now and then. And then TV-wise, my son and I are almost done with Secession, and it's time for Spring Baking Championship. You can find that on, I think it's the Food Network, but it's also on HBO Max, and that's where I watch it. And I just love baking challenges. So that's been fun. I'm all caught up though. But sometimes I really don't watch anything. I'll just, I guess I just told a fib. I do watch other stuff. Survivor's back. So I've been watching Survivor. I like to watch that and Amazing Race on Saturday mornings when I'm diamond painting and drinking my coffee. That's just, yeah. And then when I don't have Amazing Race and I don't have Survivor, I like to watch the new episodes of Dateline in 2020. I don't know. That's just my old lady thing, I guess. But Amazing Race is the one I love the most. Survivor's okay. Like, I'll watch it and I enjoy it, but I just like the host of Amazing Race more than the host of Survivor. But it's still a lot of fun and it's just entertaining. And I don't know. I don't watch a lot of reality TV, so that's about it. Movies, I haven't really seen any movies. I don't even know what's out. I know that on the 20th of April, my best friend and I are going to the movies because they are re-releasing the 1995 version of Pride and Prejudice with Keira Knightley and Matthew Modine. Is it Matthew Modine? Hold on. I don't know if that's correct. I'm going to look it up because that Pride and Prejudice. It helps if you type correctly. Oh, it's from 2005. Sorry. It is Pride and Prejudice. Oh, Matthew McFadden, something like that. Yeah, that one. She hasn't seen it. And so they're re-releasing it for the 30th anniversary. So we got our tickets to go to the movies and watch that, and it's going to be so much fun. And then in May, it's that's their 20th anniversary. Clueless is coming out in May, and that is their 30th anniversary. So her and I are going to go see that too, because that's another movie she hasn't seen. And she sees movies all the time. But I'm super excited about that. New movies, I couldn't tell you. I took my son to watch one called Novocaine, and that has Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son. I think his name is Jack Quaid. He's the lead actor, and he plays this kind of dorky, buttoned up assistant bank manager who has this genetic disorder where he can't feel pain. And the girl he has a really big crush on that works at the bank ends up getting taken during a holdup, and now he's on this hero's journey to rescue her. And of course, since he can't feel pain, a lot of it is him getting injured in fight scenes. It was good. I enjoyed him. It was a little much sometimes. I had to close my eyes a few times. But other than that, it was a good popcorn movie. And that was the last movie we've seen since Deadpool and Wolverine. And that is about all I have to say. Diamond painting. I didn't even talk about diamond painting, did I? Diamond painting, like I said, this month of April, I don't know. I just was feeling like I didn't get a lot done for March. I just didn't do as much as I really wanted to. So that's why I kind of told myself, all right, let's just focus on what you already have going on, because then I can free up some storage so I can do more starts when I get my current ones complete. But I don't really know. I just don't know if I think I can finish Biological Key by the end of April, because I only have 3 rows of that to finish. Heck, pretty sure that one will be finished, but I don't really know about the rest. And I was thinking what I might do, I think it'd be a lot of fun, is I think I might, because I love randomness, I'm thinking I might pull some kits just from my inventory, let's call it, and wrap them in wrapping paper, and then add that to the spinner wheel in May. And then it can select, you know, like surprise kit, and then have, like, let's say between 5 to 10 kits wrapped up in wrapping paper. And so that way you don't really know what they are. And then we can have a random number picker, or maybe y'all can pick we can have you guys pick a number, and there you go. That'll be the kit that we start up. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I just, I don't know, I like doing, like, there are times when I have in mind, like, oh, I can't wait to finish this one so I can start that one. And then right now I have so many that I just don't want to work on all of them, to the point where it's almost like decision paralysis. And I really think that's really the big thing that kind of stopped me from starting anything new, is I just couldn't decide. So that's what we'll do. I will wrap up some of the kits, and I'm fine with recording that if y'all want. I'll wrap up some of the kits, and then in May, we'll just say in May or end of April, y'all can pick a number and we will go from there. And I think that'll be fun. All right. What else? Diamond painting wise, I'm still wanting to do my diamond painting for beginners series. I did have, so I think that, this will be the last one I work on. I did one on storage, and the audio, sorry, my cat was bugging me. I did have one that I talked about, like different storage solutions for your drills. But I didn't like it. So I'm going to reshoot that. And then I did get this new thing that I wanted to try. So the way I've been storing my completed kits, the ones that I've completed so far in 2025, I have them hanging in my closet. The ones I completed in 2024, which I still need to show y'all, I never showed you guys, I have them rolled up and stored in boxes. But I found this, it's an outdoor TV cover. So it zips up and it's big enough to hold big projects like this one right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cardboard or some foam board and put that in the bottom, and then store my completed paintings, and then put another piece of foam board or cardboard on top of that in the little zippered thing, so that it's put up and it's safe from cats and from dust and all of that, but it's freeing up space in my closet, basically, is the goal. We'll see. I do plan to keep out. See, I kind of want to keep the ones that I've finished this year out, because I want to do a year in review at the end. But I think it'll be just fine if I store them in this zippered thing, because I can just pull them out and show you. So yeah, that's my new goal, is to get that set up. And I'm excited because I have a place under the bed. I can store it. I can store that, but it still leaves room for my cat to squeeze under the bed when he gets scared, because that's his safe space when he's scared. And who knows what scares him? It could be a loud noise outside. It could be the maintenance man knocking on the door. It could be my cooking. He doesn't like the sound of like food cooking on the stove top for some reason. The sizzle, not a fan. The other cat, she's not that scared of stuff. She's afraid of the maintenance man. She'll go hide, but she's too thick to hide under the bed. So she hides behind this chair that's in my room. And then she's scared, like anxious, scared of loud thunderstorms and bad weather. And that sends her running low to the ground to my son's bathroom. And when it's really bad, she'll go hide in his bedroom closet. Like, there was one time where I ended up sitting on the closet floor with her. She was freaking out. But it turns out we ended up having a tornado go over our heads. So I kind of use her as my weather barometer. Like if she's not freaking out, I'm not freaking out. If she's really freaking out, then I'm taking shelter because really bad weather is coming. But I just feel so bad for her because you can't. I mean, I keep telling her like it's loud noises. We're okay. You're safe. But I don't know what happened. She used to not be like that, and then I went out of town one weekend, and I came back, and now she's petrified of loud wind and really bad thunderstorms. And okay, we just deal with it. She's really hard to give like medication to because she doesn't like wet food. Otherwise, I would think about getting her like gabapentin. I'm thinking maybe I can get like a calming plug-in for her. I don't know. I have to talk to the vet. They're due for all of their annual stuff soon. That's another pain. Getting them in that cat carrier. I don't know how y'all do it with more than 2 cats because it is a workout, and taking them at separate times is not really feasible either because then whoever went to the vet is getting like beat up, not beat up, but hissed at by the one who stayed home. Like it's crazy. I guess because they don't smell like home anymore. They smell like the gross vet. So the other one will just hiss at the poor cat who was at the vet getting poked and prodded until this other cat smells like home again. Well, I feel like I talked a lot, y'all. I didn't think I'd have much to say, and here I am thinking, holy cow, that was a lot. But I missed y'all. I just haven't really had the time. Like I said, work has just been crazy, and I'm just so excited. So the funny thing, when I was interviewing, I had a long interview process. I interviewed with like the talent, like the recruiter, right? The one who initially said, hey, would you be interested? So that's like your initial interview. And then I interviewed with the person who will be my manager. And then I interviewed with her boss. And then I interviewed with her boss's boss. And so I was talking to her boss's boss. It was super, I mean, they were all super nice, super engaging. They really liked, like I said, they really liked that I knew someone who worked there, but that I also had experience with this other research site that they partner with. They were really excited about that part. And we were talking, and the last guy, the director of the whole program, asked me, like, well, what kind of workload do you have now? And when I told him, he's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. I was like, is that pretty normal for y'all, or is that, do y'all do more? And he's like, no, that is way too much. Like, how do you even breathe? And I was like, well, you don't. You just hold your breath, and you triage that to-do list all day long. So I like that. They don't have that much of a workload. They still have this. They're still busy, and there's still plenty of work, but it's not the deluge of work that I've been so used to for this past 2 years. And, I don't mind. Like, honestly, I'm fine working really hard and being really busy because I like it. I don't like to just not have something to do. I like to be occupied. So, you kind of get used to being super busy. So I was almost concerned that I wouldn't have enough work to do, but my friend that works there was like, oh no, don't worry. There's still plenty of work. So that's good. Well, y'all, I'm going to cut it off here because I need something to drink, and I'm going to go pick my son up from work. We're going to go to the grocery store, and then we're going to figure out dinner. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. So this is how far we got on Witchy Greenhouse. I'm going to finish that up, and I might do another section just because this one works up really fast and I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun. And you know what? Thank you all for listening. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, hey, hit that subscribe button. You'll never know when I'll do a video, but I sure do like doing them, and I sure do like that y'all took the time to watch this. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.